Hello everybody, welcome to another exciting Arkham Horror List video. Today we're talking about 5 terrific team trios. Yay! These are 5 teams that we have discussed and we think that have good synergy for 3 players. We normally play this game 3 players on our channel. So if you're new here and you're wondering why we're doing trios as opposed to pairs, is because we play with 3 people. So let's dive right in and talk about our first terrific team trio, which is, I think, the only one on this list we actually played exactly. We've played a few similar to this, but only one that we've actually played down to the T, which is Safina Rousseau, Mark Harrigan, and Minh T. Fan. Wow, sexy Mark Harrigan makes his appearance right away in this video, and we're all happier for it.
Every video.
Every video.
I mean, he is that good. Like, he's a very... He has to be. If we're going to be talking about what good teams, I think this team is all around a very good team.
Yeah, this is like kind of like the basic team where you got like guy who kills monsters, girl who gets clues, and then like another investigator who just kind of fills in the gaps.
Yeah.
So everything like a little bit good.
And that's kind of...
The benefit this one has is there's no overlap between the colors.
Mm-hmm.
You got purple green, you got yellow red, and you got blue.
Only blue.
Yeah, very easy team combination to play with only one collection, especially since they all come from the Cargosa cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only real argument you might ever come across is Minh T. Fan being like, no, you can't take my shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, Mark doesn't like need them. Neither does Minh T. Fan. She doesn't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With what Travis was saying as well, like, the thing about Minh and Safina is they both can kind of do the support, but then also get clues pretty well, especially if you have access to lockpicks with Safina going into the upgrades.
Yeah, which if you're in Carcosa, you should.
Yeah. And, like, this is just... There's just... Everyone's going to be carrying their weight on this team. And if you're like us and you've had a moment when in this team that Mark Harrigan shoots Minh T. Fan to death, like, that's just a win then, right? Like, that's just a good thing.
It's yeah, you might not win the scenario, but you get a good story out of it.
Yeah, the team
I have
works...
no comment on this section.
Pardon?
I have no comment on this section.
The team works so well that Mark kills literally everything. But yeah. Cool. So the rest of them, they don't kind of follow this so specifically as like the clue getter support killer. We have some actual synergies that we want to talk about in our terrific team trios as well. So we have Wendy Adams, Carolyn Fern, and Agnes Baker. So most notably, right off the bat, before we get into the details, there's no yellow character who you normally would get clues. So Travis, I'm going to let you start with this one because this was your team up that you suggested. Why is this one so good? What's where this one really shining?
Well, Carolyn heals horror, and Agnes benefits from taking horror. So you can see how that would be good. Wendy is here mostly because, while Agnes isn't going to have any troubles just like tearing through monsters with all her Tesla's damage and being able to pay for all her 6 spells because Carolyn's supporting her, Wendy is like very comfortable to just go off on her own. She's a pretty solid clue getter, and she doesn't need anyone's help to deal with monsters because she'll just run away.
Yep.
Very independent little girl.
Yeah, so with this one, you could substitute Wendy with just another investigator that's good on their own, but I agree with what Travis was saying when we were doing our prep for this video, which is that like Wendy is probably the best by herself investigator in the game, right?
Yeah, like it could be like Duke also can deal with enemies and get clues.
Yeah.
It could also be like maybe Ursula Downs, or like Finn Edwards both fill a similar role, but...
Yeah, it could even be like a Jenny Barnes or something like that.
Yeah,
any sort of investigator who doesn't just run into a cultist and be like, well, that's it, my time has come.
Yeah, but they also need to get clues because Agnes isn't doing that, and Carolyn's like a little shaky if she's devoting her time to keeping Agnes healthy.
What's Carolyn's book stat again? I don't know off the top of my head.
She gets 4.
So she can
I'm pretty sure she starts at 4.
So she can get clues, but I agree with you don't want to be like her job isn't necessarily to get clues all the time. She's more to pick up what she can, but then also provide Agnes with a nice little, and also herself and everyone else.
You only get like 10 level 0 purple and yellow cards as well, so you miss out on a lot of the strong secret cards that help you get clues good.
Yeah.
A lot of the buffs.
Yeah. And especially if you play this one like we did, we had Jenny instead of Wendy in Path to Carcosa. It's a really good time. And you're like, you feel so good coming into Dim Carcosa at the end. Like,
Yeah.
Let's do it, bud.
you want to fight us, Haster? Do you not realize that I hurt you when you hurt me? And then Carolyn's here? Cool. Of note, I also just think we should talk briefly, Travis, because you've played both Carolyn's, both her unique strengths and weaknesses from both. You say not the one with Foolish and the Black Wind, right? Not the book one, the extra box one?
The Circle Undone one is like 100% better. They both function fine, but to fight the Black Wind is like maybe if you're trying solo, the book one's better. Plus one, all your stats are pretty nice, but like to fight the Black Wind is just brutal in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Would not recommend.
Cool. Let's hop into our next terrific team TO, which is Norman Withers, Joe Diamond, and Diana Stanley.
Oh, this is notably the first one where lockpicks isn't an integral part of what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So this one's a bit weird. This pair-up is a bit weird, and it's kind of going all in on making sure Joe can do what he needs to do, which is kill, get clues, and not die to the Mythos deck.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a fairly classic protect the carry comp.
Yeah.
We've got one person who's doing most of the work, but is also incredibly fragile, and the rest of your team exists to keep that person alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what Diana and Norman contribute to this is Diana gets all kinds of cancel effects, namely the big ones like War of Protection, but also can play I'll handle this one to keep Joe safe, and then Norman gets access. He gets to play his support on the clue side of things, as well as Diana supports on the damage side of things, and Norman gets to play a bunch of cards that actually interact with the Mythos deck, especially with his Look the Angle, I'm pretty sure it's called. And you can use those to kind of redistribute how things are and keep Joe probably doesn't want to make a Brain 4 test.
Yeah. This is also the first one that we're going to talk about that you kind of need to have two sets of everything, or two sets of most of it anyway, to play, because Norman and Diana are both going to want very similar purple cards. And Joe and Norman are both going to want fairly similar yellow cards.
In our initial draft of this, I also can say that we had Carolyn instead of Norman to also help keep Joe alive. So if you can't split up your collection through these cross-contaminated deck requirements, Carolyn would be a good replacement for Norman Withers.
Yeah, she'd be pretty functional. She's a great support overall.
Yeah.
If you play Carolyn and you have 3 sets of everything, then you can play 3 copies of First Watch. Just make sure that Joe's always drawing the soft cards.
Yeah. Honestly, looking at this group, I want to play this one with you guys. I think that would be a wild time. Just exactly like this. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be something.
Yeah. All right, let's hop over to the next one, which is Luke Robinson, Preston Fairmont, and Rita Young. So this one's pretty cool. When we were coming up with Travis paired Preston and Rita together, which don't really seem like on first glance that they're going to be good, mainly because Preston's there, right? So he has 1 in all of his stats. However, Rita has a really good ability at evading people, and as we saw in our Dunwich Chaos run, she can build a pretty good melee beater class to also deal with enemies. Why this is important is because she can evade enemies, then Preston can use his money and green damage dealing cards, for example Sneak Attack, to kill enemies that are then at their location. So Rita and Preston want to be traveling together, while Luke can go off and do his own thing, and he's not at risk, mostly because, I'll let Travis take it because he likes Luke a lot. Why is Luke so good by himself in this group?
Because anytime you feel threatened, you just leave.
That's
just
let your teammates deal with it.
Yeah. You just hit up the gate box and nothing seems like a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if Rita and Preston happen to get overrun by like a bunch of Garbo tier enemies, like you can just pop in and drop down Storm Spirits or whatever. You get to play a lot of support cards that synergize well with his ability to play things the adjacent location, like Shortcut and again Storm of Spirits. You just help keep him a little safe.
Yeah. Of note, Preston and Rita, when you have one collection, they'll be competing for red cards because they both play those.
A couple of them though.
Yeah.
Not too many.
Not too many, like not the upgraded red cards, but like they're probably both gonna want some luckies in there. So just something to be aware of once again with this group. But I do think Preston and Rita could have fun. And Luke, he's always just a good time. I mean, look at him, right? How could he not be? Cool. Should we go on to our last terrific team trio? Let's go. We got Mandy Thompson, Tommy Muldoon, and Calvin Wright. Another little bit of a weird one. But the synergy for this one really comes between Tommy and Calvin. So, Bryn, I'll let you take that one because I'm just going to throw the ball to you.
So, the synergy we're talking about here is that Calvin Wright wants to spend as much of the game as close to death as possible. And Tommy wants to soak damage. And, Blue gets a lot of cards that allow you to soak damage for other investigators at your location. So, as long as you're standing near Calvin, he can be sitting at like 1 health and 1 sanity remaining and not actually be in that much danger.
Yeah, because there's I'm awful with card names. I know Brother Xavier, but then there's the
True Grit.
True Grit and something worth fighting for.
Yeah, and then that's what
there's also Solemn Vigil, I want to say. There's like a new 4 or 5 cost one from the Dreamers cycle, and then there's the one Solemn Vow maybe. That lets you like take damage from them.
There's also a new ally. I think Tetsuo Mori also allows you to place damage from other investigators on him.
And Tommy Muldoon loves it when his stuff dies. So, like, because Mandy then can go on and do her own thing. She's also very good at what were some of the things we were discussing before that Mandy can do and what she can find and what she can search for?
Oh, yeah. Mandy can, like, with using the search through your deck cards, you can help Calvin find his Until the End of Time, which basically makes him unkillable. But you can also use it to help him find his unique weakness, which causes him to take damage and a trauma to help him ramp up his game a little faster.
Yeah, and drawing that really early as well. It's like, less of a scary thing that it can show up later.
She fulfills a similar function for Tommy, where if he can't find something worth fighting for, she can go pick that out for him.
Yep.
While also getting the clues, because like Calvin's like kind of good at both. Tommy's great at killing monsters, but like you gotta get the clues.
And then also, like, let's be real with this group. You can just see in like the last few scenarios, Tommy and Calvin are just like ultimate boss killers because they're going to want to be traveling together, right, or close to one another. And then when a big dude comes up, these two guys are ready to fight, right? Like their stats are so high, it's like it's going to be a dream team. That's also seems really fun.
Yes.
Dang.
This one also might be like a little bit tough on your collection. Calvin and Tommy both want red cards. Mandy, like, you're probably going to end up taking purple with her in this comp, I think.
Yeah.
But you could take red if you want. It's most of those damn luckies.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's never not good.
Cool. So I imagine in the future we're going to be doing another video with some more trios, especially once more packs are released. But if down below you guys have any other team trios that you think would be really fun, obviously pairs are really easy to do, and we could do pairs, but because we are a multiplayer channel with 3 people, we just dived right in and just went for it. If you have any ideas for future list videos, please let us know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, smash that like button because it does actually help us get further in the YouTube algorithm. I hate saying stuff like this, like it just goes against what I like to do on my channel, but I need to say it. So if you are watching and you like this content, comment, like, it really helps us and it really goes a long way, allowing us to make more content and all that jazz. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you in the next video.